I'm David Hannay. I'm an independent member of the British Parliament, the upper house of the British Parliament. I'm here at the Salzburg Global Seminar. We're discussing issues relating to Turkey's application to join the European Union and also wider issues about Turkey's role in the world, the transformation of Turkish foreign policy and its relationships with the countries around it, both those in the Caucasus and those in the Middle East and those in the Balkans. I've been involved over a fairly lengthy diplomatic career as ambassador to the European Union and as ambassador to the United Nations on behalf of Britain. And then I did 7 years trying to help the international community find a solution to the Cyprus problem. And it's that 7-year stint that I did on that has given me a certain amount of knowledge of these issues that we've been discussing at this conference, not just Cyprus, but also issues relating to Turkey's accession to the European Union. The European Union is going through quite a difficult patch at the moment because the sovereign debt aspects of the economic and financial crisis we've been going through is hitting some of the member states very hard, and the crisis is far from over. So Europe's got some difficult period to go through, some difficult decisions to take. I believe myself that it's begun to take those last weekend, but the proof of that will be over the next year or two. One asks then about why should Turkey want to join this organization? Well, the answer is because they made a strategic decision some 20 years ago that Turkey's future was best secured within a European Union which was expanding into the region close to Turkey, which was developing a whole number of policies in areas of importance to Turkey, ranging all the way from trade through energy, the environment and so on. And I don't believe myself that the short-term problems in the financial markets and over sovereign debt that we're seeing now change that equation at all. When a country asks to join the European Union, it's a huge strategic choice which has to be done only after the greatest and deepest reflection, but equally which has to be sustained through some probably quite difficult moments. I therefore think myself that the Turkish decision was right. I'm a strong supporter of Turkey joining the European Union, and I do not believe that the difficulties that we're going through at the moment in any way invalidate that choice. The election has, as you know, resulted now in the formation of a coalition government between the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats. This is an unprecedented situation in Britain since the Second World War. There has not been a coalition there, so it's rather difficult, frankly, to predict the policy implications of that before the main parties have actually set out, as they will do in the Queen's speech on the 25th of May, what their policies are going to be. But I wouldn't think that there will be any substantial shift in most of the main foreign policy issues which Britain is involved in, either as a permanent member of the Security Council or as a member of the European Union or as a separate country on its own right. Many of these issues are, frankly, pretty bipartisan. The support for President Obama's Middle East initiatives is very strong right across the party spectrum in Britain, and I would expect the new government, like the outgoing government, to continue to give that strong support to the Middle East peace process. The need to get to grips with Iran's nuclear program is a common factor amongst all parties in Britain. I would not expect there to be any change on that, and the discussions that will resume probably next month in the UN Security Council about sanctions measures against Iran will, I think, have the support of the incoming government. There's one thing that does have to be borne in mind is that Britain, like many other countries, is suffering a really serious budgetary problems, and this does impact on its foreign policy, on the availability of funds, on the resources that can be devoted to foreign policy. And I would hope that the incoming government will conduct a really serious survey of Britain's wider security interests and make sure that we are really resourcing those policies in a proper way. Well, I think Britain was very pleased with the role that Turkey played in its rapprochement with Syria, and following on from that, in its efforts to bring some life into the Syria-Israel aspect of the peace process. It's an important one. You're not going to have peace in the Middle East so long as the Golan Heights are occupied by Israel. So it needs to be brought into the equation, and I think the work that Turkey did on that was extremely welcome. So I would hope that the new government, like the old one, will encourage Turkey to continue to play a role wherever it can, whether it be in Lebanon or in relationship with Syria, or indeed with Israel, with whom Turkey has, of course, had one or two spats recently. But my own hunch is that with some skillful diplomacy, Turkey will still be in a position to play a very useful supporting role, although the main role on Arab-Israel does now come into the hands of Senator Mitchell and the indirect negotiating process, which is just getting underway.